Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode where I ramble like a machine. Today we will talk about the lug nuts. Precious, precious lug nuts. No, actually, we're going to talk about one of the most basic and foundational aspects of this game. And that has to do with placement, positional knowledge. So when you first build, and I made fun of it a little bit, you basically build in half steps. You can offset what you build by one stud at a time and one stud direction at a time. And if like I said in another episode, if you want to do less than that, you can always do it like this. So now we're moving in smaller increments. We do it in 0.2s. It's even smaller increments. It just looks like I'm dragging it because they're so small. Whereas if it's back up to 2, see, it's yes or no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. There is no in between. Whereas with this, there is, and then there is, and so on until the smallest one that we can do, and I couldn't tell you the difference between that and that, if they're actually equal, if they are not lined up perfectly, I don't know. They sure look it, don't they? Oh, maybe, maybe not. Oh, maybe not. Is that a little extra I see jutting out on one side? Maybe. Could be an optical illusion as well. We get those sometimes. So, in order to do this, you have to have a spatial understanding of how your build functions. So it's not just where the piston contraptions can work and the other stuff it can move and whatnot. It has to do with the angles. What angle is this at? How wide do you think this is? If you're unsure, you just check. It's 0.1 stud thick, it's 2 studs wide, and it's 5.4 studs long. Simple. 0.1, 1.2, 5.4. Some similarities there, right? 0.1 and 5.4. We can pretty easily guess which ones those are because the 0.1 has to be how thick it is. It's very thin, right? So that's probably the smaller number, and how long it is probably the longest number, and so how wide it is has to be the middle number. It is not always that easily lined up for us, but that's how it's being presented here. Let's take a look at another one. We've got 0.1, 10.8, 5.4. If I try to place something in the 0.5s, you can see that it doesn't really line up anymore. But if I do it maybe by the 0.2s, well, we're a lot closer with that now, aren't we? It almost looks like we're flush on the top, but not so much on the side, and it looks like we're only 0.1 off. So what if we tried 0.1? That's a perfect corner fit, and you change my mind. That's just your normal block. And now we do the same to this side. You see that there's no extra bit at the top. There's no extra little bit at the bottom. This is exactly, it looks like a face. It sort of looks like a face. Anyway, let me gather my thoughts. It looks like it's sticking its tongue out at me. All right. So this is one of the most foundational skills of this game is spatial awareness. That's your awareness of a space. As an adjective, it's spelled with a T. That's just how the English language is. Don't mind me. But, and I cannot lie, though others may wish to deny, the most important skill in my mind is this: understanding the spatial arrangement of how you're placing blocks. So if I have something, let's say we just want to extend this by 0.5. It is now 2.5 instead of 2 studs wide. If I go to place this on a 0.5 scaling, let's change the colors up here so that we can see the difference. You see that there's some extra bit on these sides, and I will tell you that it is exactly 0.25 on both sides. And in fact, if we take our scale, 0.25 and 0.25, there it is. What are we seeing here? When you're trying to place by 0.5 on something that already is 0.5, it puts it in the center, meaning that the two sides are now evenly divided on whatever the remainder is. Now, this is probably the most common that will happen, because otherwise, one of the other things that we could have done is actually to build it by 0.25s. And then that would have accomplished the same thing. You see what I'm saying here? Is it all making the skinny on the whinny? Yeah? Nay? Ixnay? Now see, similarly, we can always move the block by 0.25. Works the same. 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. That was 4 of them, so that should be 1 stud. 0.25, 0.25. Huh. It merges into it at this part. See how there's the overlap? And so we get this visual glitch. Why isn't it just why didn't it go flush with it again? Well, I'll tell you, it's because this whole contraption is only 5.4 studs long. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. The number that I said earlier, this is only 5.4 long, this is only 5.4 long, that's the total space that I was basically working with here, other than what's jutting off to the side here. So the fact that this moving in by 0.25 did not quite mesh, we can guess that 0.15 is how much that it was inside it. Is that true? No. In fact, it looks like I was 0.5 off. Is that true? Yes. So now I should be able to move this 1.4, because that should have been how much it was, right? And it's flush. See that? If I pull this, we'll get the visual glitch. We are not getting the visual glitch. This does sometimes happen, but you can see if I zoom in, we should be getting the visual glitch. That's actually kind of weird. Way to make me feel wrong, game. But no, we should be getting the visual glitch. It's just that this game does not handle anything less than 0.01 on that scale. Does not handle it well. It doesn't always know what to do. Like yeah. Yep, that's all I gotta say about that. And you all have yourselves. I think that's what all I wanted to teach you. Hold on, let me check. Oh. And just that. Say you want walls. You can scale your materials down so that they are only so thin, only so wide, and then you can mirror it. Why would I mirror it? Because it's an exact copy right here that I can then scale all the way down to a 0.25, and drag in another direction as another part of a wall. Now you could have these just as the simple wall, like as I am doing right here, or you can have what amounts to the interior of the wall. If we sort of measure it in such a way. Hey. Alright, I'm going to end it there. I hope that you all have learned something. If you have, please leave a like or a thumb somewhere in the video. And I hope that it's your thumb, not somebody else's. I don't want to know where you got the thumb. And if you feel bad for old Timmy the Tool here, who has this weird green demonstration in one of his eyes, let me know in the comments. Thank you, and bye-bye.